It all happened when I was 2 or 3 years old, probably 2.5, because I was still in my toddler's bed. And I was lying there playing with my toys, and I was given some kind of lollipop, round lemon lollipop, as I remember to this day, and it got stuck in my throat. So I couldn't breathe in one moment suddenly. And as I was a toddler, I didn't know what to do in this situation. I coughed a bit, of course, but then suddenly, probably, I had got oxygen deficiency, and just out of the blue, I have found myself above my body, above my toddler's bed, above my room, above my house, above my garden where the house was situated. And it was and suddenly I was in a very bright and light and joyful place. And suddenly I have remembered that I'm not this toddler in this cot. I am a spirit, actually. And I have remembered that I have done this many times before, and it was just as usual as we go out and go in our houses. So it was a feeling of complete liberation. And the first thought that came into my mind was, at last, and thanks God, it was so short this time. And I just remember these words. Thank God it was so short this time. So I was sure that this life has ended, and I am now free to go somewhere else. And I'm not sure where exactly, but I was free to go. But at the same time, I didn't think about my parents, grandparents. I didn't think about myself. But suddenly I was kind of pulled down by the trees in our garden. And my grandfather, his name was Victor, he was avid gardener and he liked to plant things. He had an apple tree garden with blooming apple trees. It was late spring, I think. And there were beautiful, beautiful flowers, white flowers among the green. And I was attracted to these trees. And I had a feeling that the trees were calling me back, were inviting me back. And I was looking down to the trees and felt the love and the warmth and the feeling of kind of like your grandmother is calling you, like, come, come. And I was pulled down to these trees, and I had thought that, oh, it was so short this time. I didn't have time to get acquainted to these trees, to get to know these trees, this garden, these flowers and other plants and cats and dogs. And I was kind of interested again in this life, maybe. And as I was zooming in back to the garden, back to the tree, back to the house where we lived then, suddenly I have found myself in my little body again. And I have found myself in the body, and my mother and grandmother, they both came rushing into my room and starting beating me, on the back. And I have spit out the lollipop and started breathing again, obviously. So I think now. So it was kind of simultaneous happening. And I didn't bother to tell my parents about this story. I could somehow talk a bit, speak a bit at this age, but I didn't feel it was necessary, or I didn't feel it was something extraordinary. For me, it was just as usual as any other thing happening in life of the child. So I was sure it should be so. So I didn't bother to tell anybody. But I think that after that, I was starting feeling overwhelmed by the physical reality, because I remember very well when I was a bit older, maybe 4 or 5 years old, uh, I used to kick the furniture of my grandparents. It was very, old style, wooden, solid furniture. And somehow I was feeling frustrated and irritated by the weight by the solidity of this furniture, of these walls in the house. And I was kicking that just because I was frustrated. It was like I wanted out of this material world without maybe even realizing this. So my parents often ask me, why, Olga, do you fight with the furniture? And I was kind of answering some kind of lie, actually, because I didn't want to explain the real reason behind this. So that's pretty much of this story. After that, there was another situation of near death, maybe out of body experience. I don't know how to classify this. I was older. I was 6 or 7 years old, because we have moved to the new house in Moscow. And I was playing and running around the house in the yard with my playmates. And I was running very fast. And suddenly I trapped, my feet got trapped, and I fell down very hard on the hard surface. And because of the shock, probably my heart rate got syncope rhythm, or just stopped for several seconds, because suddenly I have found myself about this body, about this site, about this house again. And I have remembered all this again and again. I was very glad that this life has ended, and it was a very short time for me to leave, and I was very glad to go again. And I have found myself in this ocean of liquid love, actually. That's how it felt. And it was so nice there, so I didn't want it to go back again. But this time I had a thought about my parents, and somehow I have played the situation where the only child dies, they have to bury me, and I have felt all their feelings and the feelings of our family circle and my relationships and our acquaintances. And I have seen the ripple effect of my death on the fate of my parents, and I felt very sorry for them, actually. I understood that I didn't want to cause them this pain. And somehow I knew that my parents wouldn't have any more children after my death due to some reason. I'm not sure about the details, but it was clear for me. And I don't have any brother or sister, actually. So I understood that my death would cause very bad effect on their life. And because of that, they wouldn't develop some qualities they needed to develop. And actually, it was kind of, treachery to them. So I didn't want to be a treacher. I decided to go back to my body, obviously, because I have just, again, with a snap of the fingers, I was again in my body, and I get up and ran away just like nothing has happened. So it was without any consequences for my health. So it was kind of instantaneous back and forth movement for me.
Yeah, so you lost consciousness basically how long were you unconscious?
I'm not sure. Maybe it was 3 seconds, maybe it was 30 seconds, but nobody has bothered about me lying there. So I
Yeah.
think it was very, very short time.
Okay, so
But
how?
when
Yeah.
you're up there, the time expands,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
you don't feel like it
yeah,
was two
yeah,
seconds or 2 hours, because you somehow in one instant you understand everything, and time actually is the sequence of the event. So for me it was very long time there. I was
yeah,
thinking about many things, but for me, lying there as a child, it was probably maybe 5 seconds.
yeah. Basically, that was going to be my next question. What was your perception of time on the other side? Let's say you were unconscious for 5 seconds or 30 seconds. What was your perception over there in these 3 or 30 seconds on Earth?
The perception is like there is no time. There is no time, because this space is multidimensional. So you kind of experience simultaneously all layers of reality, and they don't go one after another, just like in material world.
They go all
So
together at the same
they
time.
come all together, and you have the capacity to experience this all together. Because, for example, I remember my ayahuasca experience. I used to go once. I won't advocate the things. Of course, it is dangerous and it may have many bad things at these ceremonies. But when I was there, I was still in my earth reality, but experiencing many, many layers. And I remember how hard it felt. It felt like you're standing under the waterfall, and it was going to crush your soul, your conscious. So I was pleading, just stop this information flow, because our brains aren't capable to process this kind of intensity.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because when you've done this ayahuasca thing, is it DMT?
I was still in my
Is the same thing like DMT?
not exactly. This is the same chemical molecule, yes, dimethyltryptamine, DMT, but uh, you kind of take it differently. It's not like instantaneously, like when you, I don't know, smoke it or what
Yeah,
kind of.
yeah. So
So it's a more natural way. It
yeah.
just,
So the effect is very overwhelming because you are still in your body, even though you
yeah,
have this experience, this beautiful, out of body experiences feels like, but you are still in your body. So that's very overwhelming for your mind because you can't, like you said, you can't process all this because
yeah,
it's
it's
everything.
overwhelming.
Yeah, everything comes at the same time. And when you are on the other side, like a spirit, you can process everything at the same time. This is why. But
Yes, because you are the same frequency, like this multi-dimensional space.
yeah,
So you are not your body, you are not some physical thing, your frequency. So you just go along with all these events, and you expand in many, like, this uh, corpuscular theory in quantum physics. You are everywhere, like expanding.
yeah. Now, do you know the theory of Einstein?
Yes,
Okay, does this like feel really dear to you? You,
relevant.
you realize that right away when you are on the other side that like there's
Uh,
not. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, I didn't think about the Einstein theory, of course, but I have realized that we are over there and temporarily we're here. So we kind of bounce between these two states of our, like a corpuscle, like a body, or like a wave.
Yeah,
No.
yeah. So I'm going to ask you again. You explained that ahead of me. I was going to ask you, you explained it right away. But I'm going to ask you again. How did you feel the time when you're on the other side? The concept of time, how did it feel to you?
I didn't feel the time, actually. There was no time. I didn't think about it. I was just thinking about the time when I realized that this life was, how I thought, over, and how short it was. So for me, it was kind of Earth time, that I didn't have to spend many Earth years in this small body, and I could return to my natural state as a wave, as an electron, well, as a spirit.
Yeah.
As a spirit.
I like I like the way you said ocean of liquid love. That's beautiful said. How did you feel that ocean of liquid love?
It was liquid love because there was not one unpleasant thing, not one. Just everything was absolutely perfect, perfect, just as it should be. It was feeling of home. It was many bespoken feeling of home, like many NDE experiencer describe this. So it was ocean of liquid love, and I understood that this love permeates everything, everything from atoms, molecules to trees, and inside everything there is this love that contains and supports our universe.
Yeah, but why people here on Earth don't, how
Don't
to
feel
say?
this?
Let me ask one second. You say that that love that you experienced permeates everything, and I like that. I like that very much how you express it. But why this love doesn't permeate everybody on this earth? You see how much evil, how much bad things happening here. Not everybody is experiencing this love. They are close to this love. What's happening?
The irony of the situation that it permeates every being, because without this we wouldn't be here, we wouldn't be alive without this love. But not every person can feel it, just because they are not on the same frequency with this love. Just like we cannot hear ultra wave or see infrared light.
Yeah,
We don't have the capacity.
yeah,
So we just don't have the capacity. These persons who don't feel this love, they didn't develop the organ with which they could feel this love. And they live in the bubble of their own reality. The famous psychotherapist Carl Gustav Jung, has experienced near-death experience when he was in his 70s, probably close to the end of his life. And he writes about perfectly when he returned to our world after near-death experience. He writes that it was like everybody was living in his own box. I was back in this box world. Everybody in his own box, no connection, no connection. And it was so hard for him that he was really suffering about this.
yeah,
So you cannot exchange this love
yeah,
with one who doesn't feel this, probably.
yeah. So we
Or
build this. Yeah, sorry. So we build these boxes around us, like we build houses. You know, we have to live. Everybody got to have a little house. Everybody got to have this
yes,
box.
because
But you,
we are living fear, and because of this fear, we build more and more layers between us and this reality. And it is interesting that in Russian language, the word pride, гордость, as you
yeah,
know, and the word
yeah,
fence,
yeah,
fence is the same root.
yeah.
Гордость, ограда, огород, огораживать.
But also the city, Gorod.
Город, yes, ограда.
Yeah, the
So
same
it
thing.
means,
It's Gorod. Yeah,
yes, it's like fence or the defense.
yeah,
We're defending ourselves with these
yeah.
boxes, but actually we don't need to. but people don't realize that we don't need to. And it is possible, but it takes a bit of courage to get rid of your defenses and go out and to call out to the love in the other person. And it's possible that he would resonate, but we need to make the first step, obviously.
Yeah, but then at the same time, if people would never build these fences, they would be eaten by tigers and lions, right? Long time ago.
Well, probably. I'm not that clever to know the answer.
They hide in the caves and they start, they have to protect somehow.
Yes, but at the same time, we know the stories about the
Yeah.
saints or monks who live in a desert, and lions and bears came to them and live in peace because they also feel this love and they want to be close to this love. They don't want to eat the source of this love.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, it's like the dogs, they start attacking you if they feel the fear because they feel danger. That if they feel love, yeah.
That's the thing, absolutely. You attract the same frequency that you are on, like radio.
Yeah, but at the same time, the negative and positive, they attract each other so they can complete each other. But then you say that the same frequency attract each other. It's a little bit of contradiction here, no?
It is, but we're living in a world of duality. And by the way, in my ayahuasca experience, there was a moment when I faced an evil spirits rather, and I was very afraid. It is very, very fearful experience, and I understood that I shouldn't be afraid and I shouldn't confront them. I just said that you have the same right to be here as I am. I didn't start to curl them, to try to make them go away. I just accepted them, and they have their own place in the world. Though they were obviously wanted to eat me, so to say. But after after I accepted their presence and their importance, it kind of leveled between us, and they have just disappeared. And actually, it was a nice experience.
Okay, so to feel or to see these spirits, you have to be also in the specific vibration. How? Because not every person can see them, but I think everybody can
Well,
sense it. Yeah.
actually, ayahuasca opens you up to the spirit world, and since we are still on Earth, in the low astral plane, these spirits can reach you. That is the reason why you shouldn't do this without only if you are brave enough.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. If you are that crazy experimentator, yeah, I understand that. Yeah.
Yeah, there are many situations.
Yeah.
So about this love, yes, love unites even this evil spirit.
Yeah.
Yes, and for this reason, I have never doubted in existence of God. So somehow I never had, if there is a God, I just knew it is there. He is there, and I didn't needed some proofs. I when I hear people saying I believe in God, it is strange to me because you don't have to believe in God. You have to love God, to communicate with God, to be kind of His representative, maybe or not. But to believe it's a stupid thing as if you believe in your parents. How could you believe in your parents? You know you have parents.
Yeah. Well, I want to ask you, so this happened with you when you were 2 years old.
2 and then 7 years old,
Yeah.
yes.
Well, we begin with the 2 years old. So it's hard to regret about anything when you're 2 years old because you're not experienced much. You're just sucking on that lollipop and suddenly, things happen. You've been loved by parents, by everybody when you were a kid, if you're lucky, of course, but most kids are loved.
Yeah, yeah.
So you didn't have any regrets when you went outside, when you went to other side. But how do you remember? Because at 2 years old, I can't remember anything when I was 2 years old. How do you remember all that at 2 years old? You know what I mean?
I have a monstrous visual memory. Even I think before the near-death experience, I can perfectly remember the pattern of the, when you're lying in your baby cot, the parents usually put some kind of lace curtain in order some
Yeah.
insects
Yeah.
didn't go in. So I perfectly remember the pattern on this lace curtain on my baby cot. So it was kind of stuck in my memory. And the event with the lollipop and out-of-body experience, I remember as vividly as now. Which is
Yeah. I had
it's
one
like
guess.
in memory, you don't have the time also because in your memory, you go somewhere else.
Yeah. I had a guest. His name is Christian Sandberg. He's been on a lot of podcasts. He remembers exactly his pre-birth experience, what happened, how he was. Actually, I had a couple guests with pre-birth experiences.
Me too, but I'm not concerning the physical process of birth, but it happened again without any reason to me. I was just healthy and sound, and I was lying in bed, sleeping, and in my dream, I suddenly was taken somewhere else in the other space, and I found myself in an open space on a sail ship with standing near some kind of man or bee, but very close to me, and we were united by this feeling of love, deep love, not sexual love, but really deep love. And I was flying under the crawling stars, obviously with a very big speed. And at one moment, I saw the reflection of the Earth in the sky between the stars, and it was a shock for me because this reflection showed the house, the building under construction, a construction site, and it was the most ugly concrete building under construction, just like you see in big cities, with this development galore everywhere in big cities. And I was asking, what is this? Why do I see it among this beautiful open space, among these shining stars? And probably it was time to me to go to this planet because this ship kind of stopped a bit, in front of the concrete quail. And I remember these dark and cold waters of the ocean below us. And I was very hesitant and very frightened to go there. And I have hugged my guide, my angel, and I was telling him that I do not want to go there. It's cold and it's very, it's scary, and I get lost there, sure. So I was very hesitant. So then probably my spirits came to kind of soothe my soul, because suddenly I was among the most beautiful connection of stars, like you see in Hubble telescope image. They were alive and they were like shining diamonds of different sizes, different colors, different feelings, but they were like one family coming to greet me or to say goodbye, maybe, I don't know. And I was so joyful to see them. And after this, I just woke up thinking, what was that? So it was a big impression that it made on me.
Yeah.
It really has a deep impact on me.
Okay.
So since then, I feel like kind of pretending being human, actually. It is strange to be here sometimes, but I always remember that where I'm coming from.
So where are you coming from?
Well, probably from this beautiful space between stars. I cannot say more because I don't have the exact location, like Pleiades, etc. And I'm not quite sure about these things, actually. But what I felt, it was a deep, deep connection with these great beings, stars. It is our true nature, like star being, because the love itself, it is a kind of flame. It is usual comparison, love and flame, because it gives, it expands, and stars are living lights, living flames, like our sun, for example, always gives waves and rays and send us the light, the love, and the warmth.
Okay, so having
For me, it is very strange how physical reality confronts our poetical views to this world. It is very connected, actually.
so having these two near-death experiences, how it affected your life? How did you look at life? You probably look completely different than most people.
Well, I guess, yes, I'm less disturbed with everyday dramas, and I'm not very ambitious. I have never wanted to be the best in show, so to say. For me, it was always important to keep this balance in small things, and
Yeah.
it is interesting. But though I feel irritated by this physical reality, the material world is very interesting for me in these small things. For example, I can marvel about some small objects like pen, or I don't know, fruits, or some kind of object, material object, how it is made, how many people were involved in this. So it is so interesting that material world kind of embody our dreams, our hopes, our intention.
Have you ever been afraid of that?
Of that, no, never.
Never. But were you looking forward to that or no?
Probably not too, because it happens when it happens, and I know when it happens it will be good. And since I'm still alive, then
It's good too.
it has some meaning. Yeah.
Okay.
The only thing that bothers me is that people are afraid of death. I
Do
wish
what?
it wouldn't be so. People are afraid of death. For example, my friends and relatives,
People are afraid of
they,
Okay. Yeah.
they prefer not to think about
Yeah,
death,
yeah.
to
Yeah,
avoid
yeah.
this topic. And I wish it wouldn't be so, because there is no need to.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, well, that has been portrayed as something really terrible for most, of the time, and people are afraid of it.
And it's funny how many time people spend now trying to find some longevity, kill, or everlasting youth, or everlasting life, or to freeze yourself, or to be revived after some time, scientific discoveries. But what for? It's useless. It's meaningless. Absolutely.
Do you think these people are atheists?
Atheists? Probably I would say that these people do not know their true nature. It doesn't mean they're atheists, but they just don't know about the reality of things. They live in their own bubble, and they
Now,
are very limited in their belief.